And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, General Manager at WEIU. My co-host is Michelle Bravo.
Hi.
Welcome, Michelle. And today we have guests from the Tour de Charleston. I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to just let the three of them introduce themselves and kind of give a background of what their involvement is, the Tour de Charleston. So, Megan, go first.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Barrow. I am the co-chair of our planning committee, and I'm really kind of in charge of each subcommittee and helping everyone stay on track and stay organized.
And I'm Doug Abolt. I'm the president of the Charleston Chamber. On the planning committee, I'm responsible for promotion and the financing.
Hi everyone, Jeremy Alexander. On the committee I serve as a race advisor, so I've been working with the route planning and making sure that we take care of safety for our participants.
Well, appreciate you all three being here. It's a crazy week here at WEIU. As you know, it's our fundraising week, so things are a little in disarray, but we're here to talk about Tour de Charleston. The first thing I want to talk about, Doug, you said something right before we went on the air, is you're at 119 racers and there was 120 last year, so we definitely want to beat last year, so give us an overview of that.
Well, absolutely. We've been planning for several months, and there's a lot of dedicated repeat racers on there. So we have a lot of those, but a lot of new people as well. We expect a lot more to be registered this week, so I'm confident we'll have much more than one. I'm hoping we're getting around that 175 to 180 area.
Okay.
Before COVID, we've had as many as 235 to 250 participants in the race.
Okay. And Jeremy, I always like to, I don't really have to say this, but I like to play dumb, but some people say I'm not playing. Is if somebody's brand new to the community, I know Michelle didn't know what this event was. For the new people in the community, new students here at EIU or even at Lakeland, what is the Tour de Charleston?
So it's a race. It's a bicycle race, but it's also a fun event where we have three different races that are occurring. We have a 62-mile race for our adventurous folks who've ridden a few times, a little serious. We have our 25-mile race that loops out to the north side of the town, and we have our 12-mile loop that loops down also north side of town. Really, it's just a showcase of what the Charleston area, Coles County, Cumberland County has to offer, and then we have a lot of different things that are happening up in the square as well. So when families come down, you have the participants, the racers go do their thing, but partners, friends, family can hang out in the square, have a good time while the folks are out racing.
So it's a lot more than a race now, Megan. So
Yeah.
talk about the planning of, the race part, but also after the race and what all goes into that. Because if there's a lot of subcommittees, that means there's a lot of people, and a lot of moving parts.
We've been planning for months on this, I'd say. A lot of stuff goes into it, from marketing, just getting the word out there, going to different places around town and just giving them our poster, posting things on Facebook. Volunteering is huge. We do need some more volunteers, just to encourage, cheer the racers on, make sure that they're staying in the correct route, making sure cars aren't cutting through people or cutting people off, or honking or whatever. A lot of different things have gone into this.
We talk about the race. Is this your first time doing
This is my
way?
first time being involved in this. Last year I just did a day or two of volunteering, but this is my first time actually being involved in the actual planning of the event.
And before the event, also there's another thing called the Lincoln Lap that I didn't even know about. So Doug, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, this year we partnered with C-Car, and they are putting on what's called a Lincoln Lap. And the C-Car folks have planned this. It's more of a fun walk run, up 7th Street, down 6th, pointing out the historic sites along the way. And the fun part of it is the dressing up as Abe Lincoln, and the women wearing bonnets. Hopefully there won't be too many men in bonnets. But then around 1:30 there's a costume contest with that. And there will be games on the square for kids. There's bags, there's food trucks, anywhere from breakfast items to lunch items to ice cream to shaved ice lemonades and strawberries. So we really are anticipating a very lively square action, and that's what we want to have, an event for the whole community. And not to mention cheering on the bikers. It is very exciting when they take off and go underneath the big flag and then coming home to the finish line. It was a photo finish last year, and you'd be proud to know that Charleston guy beat all the guys from that tune. Jeff.
It's a thrill.
Who started it on the other day? Just for the record, it was Doug Abels. starting
Yes.
the Mattoon-Charleston rivalry. Michelle, go ahead.
Is there like a certain price, to sign up, or does it like differ from like age ranges? Like sometimes you have like senior discounts.
Yeah, the prices change, and I don't remember that off the top of my head, but you have a price for the 12, the 25, and the 50, so you pay a little bit more when you do the 50. But they're quite affordable, and for what you get, as Doug was kind of going with bragging rights, there's a lively discussion happening amongst our cycling community about who's going to win, who's going to make who work a little bit harder, so people do get a little bit competitive in this too as well.
Which we encourage that. We want them to be competitive.
Hey, you love it when somebody can win. Jeremy, you're obviously the professional biker in this room,
Not
right?
professional, but
Or the experienced biker in this
Right.
room. Talk about the longest races. Is it 50 or 62 and a half?
62 and a half.
So are you in that one?
Not this year. I'm just not in that kind of shape.
Well, we'll talk about what it takes to do 62. That seems like a long time on a bike.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
That's about 3 hours on average for most of the folks who are going to be coming in quickest. So you're talking about somebody's going to need 2-3 bottles of water. They're going to at least eat once at least while they're en route. Some of the slower folks are going to be, because they're going to have folks that are going to be much more in a sightseeing pace. The really into it guys or girls are going to be averaging north of 20 miles per hour. So they'll, and those of us who know the Charleston-Cumberland area know that south isn't exactly pan-flat. So you'll visit a few hills, but they're nothing like alpine climbs. But there's some things.
A hill's a hill, right?
A hill's a hill, and you'll remember it as you're starting to go up.
Now, which one are you going to race in then?
I'm going to do the 25.
25? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the significance of the 62 in a third or a half, it's 100 kilometers.
Okay.
So Jeremy would say, especially in the Tour de France, that's called a century. So Europe, that's the century race.
And so, I guess, for lack of a better way to ask it, you have to have people on. How long between people are on courses to make sure that the riders are safe and they're on the right route? Is it a half mile, quarter mile? How does that work when you're people out there?
We've identified a lot of the troublesome corners or intersections, so where there are going to be high traffic areas where we'll have some volunteers either helping to slow the race down so that oncoming traffic can pass through or vice versa. In addition to that, we'll have a chase vehicle running behind, just running last place, making sure that we are following up with everyone. And then finally, we do try to make contact. If somebody is on the 62, for instance, and it's taking north of 6 hours, we're going to make a call and say, hey, are you okay? And in some of the races in the past, the person who is taking that long, they're like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm just enjoying myself. And we're like, all right, we're just making sure.
Michelle?
So how does the volunteering process go? Like, how do you sign up, and how have you guys been like getting the word out there for the need of volunteers?
We've been getting the word out there through just Center for Influences in our community. Eastern's helped a lot with that. Just coaches, teachers, just anyone who has a good array of people that they can ask. A good way to sign up is through
the Charleston Chamber website for volunteers. Yeah, and we have a QR code on some of the handouts.
Yep.
We did do a mass email to 40,000 people on a list that had opted into interest in activities such as bike races. And we draw from Bloomington, Terre Haute, Champaign. So it's not just a Coles County. It draws the biking community, which Jeremy is a part of that. I'd call it a subculture.
Yeah, really.
You really get that out there and understand the seriousness of it, and people that take the sport and travel and do that. But we still have a lot of people from the community that come out for the 12 and a half and 25 that have a great time, and it's quite an event to participate in.
One of the neat things I think you've done over the past, since I remember the Tour de Charleston happening, is taking the posters around to different businesses, community leaders, coaches, dignitaries, and taking a picture with them and posting that. Do you know where that idea came from? Because I think it's really good. I'm surprised no one's stolen that idea
Where
from you.
did that
either.
idea? Was
I
that?
think Tina.
Yeah, I was going to
Tina?
say, Tina held, she is the head of our chair of
She was too
committee.
cool to be here today, right?
She
Yeah.
was too
Yeah.
cool to be here today.
No.
No, I'm just joking. But no, I think, and it's not only promoting Tour de Charleston, but it's promoting the business for promoting our community.
Yeah, that's a great
It's
idea.
letting you know
It
this
really is.
business is here for us. and shop local.
How far do the people come to get in a bike race? You know, I mean, are we talking all across the country or middle part of the country or what?
I think we have a pretty good draw. I think there's a participant that comes from Kentucky every year. And I know folks that are coming from all sides of the state. We have a good group that comes out of Terre Haute from year to year, too. So it really depends. I know I've traveled up to 4 hours to go in a bicycle race and then drive 4 hours back home.
Interesting. What, I guess, as we gear towards the race on Saturday, at what point this week do you all start getting like stuff out on the courses and kind of getting prepared? Because you can't do it all Saturday morning, I assume.
Oh, no, because the races start early on Saturday morning. So there's a core group of cyclists and like-minded individuals will start. We've got a map going identifying corners that we need to sweep, areas that we need to put down, markings on the road to help to guide people. The maps have been available for several months now, but there's still there's folks who are not going to be navigating by GPS, and they're going to look, all right, I can make a right turn here. So we'll do that. Starting Wednesday, we'll start to address some of the issues, and then Thursday, Friday, we'll try to correct anything left that we can correct.
Anything else
That's where those volunteers come into play too, for those people that are just like, turn left here, or don't go straight, go left. If you're at the 25 race or if you're at the 12, that's where the volunteers are really coming helpful.
One thing to add about promotion is this Wednesday we'll have a full-page ad in the Daily Eastern News advertising the entirety of the festival and all the events and the 2 live bands that'll be on the square as well.
Yeah, and that's what I want to get to about last, and I'm sure that's probably going to be what a lot of people want to talk about is it's just really like it ends up being a party / festival on the square. So talk about what people can see and all the details about the after race party.
Well, we wanted to keep people in Charleston. Obviously, you can ride your race and drive home, but we have unique suites that are giving a small discount for people that need a room. We have games for kids and adults. We have live band. Mike and Stan's is having a drink special, and he's opening up his beer garden. We're going to have a DJ in the morning and the afternoon. I mean, we just really want to keep people in Charleston, show them our square, and it's a great way for, all the food trucks and just people to be promoted.
Yeah, there are 6 food trucks. So the Sizzlin' Tizzler, which does subs and wood-fired pizzas. We have the Zach Snack Shack that breakfast sandwiches, so you can even come out and have breakfast. And then the Hawaiian Ice, Aunt Kim's Kettle Corn. And we have homemade ice cream from We Like It Farm Stand. And then the butcher shop has my favorite word, free hot dogs while supplies last. So plenty. You won't go away hungry when you come to the festival.
Let me get you a second, Michelle. Let me ask: is this something that's normal at bike races, or is this?
Oh yeah, I mean there a lot of the races. So you'll have races in Chicago and St. Louis, and it's about that community coming together. And so yes, you have a race that's occurring, but it's also getting people out and getting people exposed to the sport. I mean, some people don't realize that there's this sport happening, or some folks might, I just want to ride my bike. All right, the Tour de Charleston is very accessible to folks who just like, hey, I'm not going to go try to ride 25 miles an hour. I'm just going to just ride and just see the sights. And you know what? Just make sure your tires are pumped up, your brakes work, and all right, come out and hang out.
Michelle, go ahead.
Yeah, so how long is everything going on at the square? At what time do the first food trucks open to when they close? And are they open the entire time?
They open at, was it 9?
Around 9, but the 10 o'clock to 2
is our
prime time area. But the food trucks that are there for breakfast, they're going to be open really early.
Food trucks leaving around 2, but like we said, Mike and Stan's is going to be open all day, and then the band leaves around 2:30.
2:30, yes.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're soft on the opening up side is we wanted to make sure that some of the cyclists had an opportunity to start coming back.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to start up too early because I think the first race is going out at 8 o'clock in that range. So we just want to make sure.
Most of the racers will be done by noonish, you think? Noon
Oh, yeah.
o'clock?
A good chunk of the folks will be done by that time. The 62ers are most likely going to be the ones who are going to be pushing that window a little bit.
Doug, go ahead.
We have a medals presentation and trophies, and that'll happen over there in the little gazebo area around the square. It's real neat. So we're taking a little break from the band, and it's nice to have a good crowd there to cheer them on for finishing, because the different age groups are there, and they're quite proud of their accomplishment.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Doesn't matter what you win. If you win something, you're happy. How many racers could you take? I mean, is it unlimited, or would you have to kind of top off at something because of the course?
I think because of it's more of a road race format, I think it's relatively unlimited. I don't want to say we can take 1,000, but if 1,000 showed up, I think we'd be happy
That'd be a
with
good
that.
problem.
Yeah, that'd be a good problem to have. We send them out in waves. But because of the nature of the courses being road racy, we can actually accommodate quite a few people coming through.
And this year, the chip, the T-shirt, which we got a new design on the T-shirt. It's really slick, kind of matches the posters that are around. But the disposable chip is a great improvement this year. That used to have to try to collect those from a lot of bikers,
Yeah.
and so now, it is very unlimited, as Jeremy said.
Now the poster's red and gold. I noticed that's probably you're doing.
Well,
He started it.
maybe. We certainly wouldn't have the green, but that'd be all right. Maybe next year, Jeff, for you.
Yes. And each year we learn something new. Each year we want to improve on something. And another thing that's, I don't think, different from last year is our raffle giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of businesses just donate a basket or a box, or like YMCA did a 3-month of a free membership,
yeah.
just something little. Giving away, we're reading off bib numbers, and we're going to give a couple to the volunteers as well.
That's good. Maybe a dumb question, but another question is, the Tour de Charleston obviously has become kind of a staple now, and it's done well, and it continues to grow. Has other companies or businesses or race organizers thought about coming to Charleston for additional races or another race because it's kind of such a success, if I could talk?
Not that I'm aware of, but I think that as publicity grows, I think we'll grow the event and the number of businesses involved. This year we have a lot of new sponsors that have wanted to jump on board and be a part of it.
Okay, Shell?
Maybe because I'm not from here, but I'm like, why don't Charleston and Mattoon do something together?
The rivalry.
I think
that
would be
it-
involved with the Tour de Charleston. No.
It's good-natured kidding
Yeah, I
there,
know.
but I think that we do have plenty of riders that come in from Mattoon.
And honestly, Doug and the Mattoon Chamber Director are both going to be back in a few weeks
Yes.
to talk about all the things that we do. So we'll be able to answer that question probably better. But yeah, it's all good nature. We have fun with the Mattoon Charleston rivalry because the Coles County Clash is
The
coming up.
county clash,
Yeah,
yes.
so we have lots of stuff coming up. Rider safety on the course. Let's get serious for a minute. The most important thing is 200 riders leave, 200 riders come back healthy. How do you implement that? And that might be Megan and
So first, when you register, we're collecting some safety information from all of our registrants, and then keeping track of who shows up and then who launches off with each race. Things for bikers to do before they even get ears, like I joked and says, make sure your ears tires are pumped up, check your brakes, give it a once through. All riders need to wear helmets whenever they're in the race. People are like, oh, I don't like helmets. They're very helpful safety devices. This is a race, but we're not racing the Tour de France, so look out for each other. You're not going to win a race on a corner, and these are open roads too, and it's getting close to harvest season, so with our volunteers as well as our racers, we're asking people to look out for each other as they're going around, and if anybody's ever not trying to cause anyone any damage or anything, we'll have the racers neutralized as we're heading outside of town, so we'll have police escorts that are leading us out to the north routes and the south routes, and then after that, it's opened up to full-on racing, so go as fast and as safely as you can.
you want to
I
add?
was going to add just the police were helping us with escorting and just making sure other drivers are aware too. And you're right, with Harvest, just if you're out and about in Charleston and you see a group of bikers, just slow down maybe a little bit.
Turn around and go the other way.
Yeah, don't try to race them.
Now, what if a racer would crash and have a minor injury or something? What is the protocol there? And does the chip alert that, or is that something just the racers have a way to contact, their friends or race organizers?
Yeah, in each bag we put an accident contingency plan. So if it was serious enough, we called 911 type of thing, and then we have the emergency contacts. We have a central point to call in the event of an accident. So they call that central point and then we get in touch with whether it's the police or the ambulance or whatever. But if it's serious enough, we calling 911.
So bikers do take their phone with them all 100%
on this kind of race, yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
And volunteers too. If you see anything, let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, we have volunteers, and then of course what's called the sag wagon.
Yes,
That's
the
following up
caboose.
behind.
Interesting. Michelle?
Yeah, how far out is this race? I know you guys keep saying like 62 miles and stuff
So
like that, but
probably-
like, where around is that?
It is about 20 miles due south is the furthest point south that we do. We kind of go out towards Lerna, then go south of Lerna to Jonestown, and then we drive on the south of the north side of Cumberland County, and then make our way coming back up west of Lake Charleston. So
It's a
east
beautiful
of west.
route.
And so it's a wonderful route, and you see quite a few interesting sites. I mean, I'm a transplant to the county, and I've learned a lot about Coles County riding on bikes.
wow.
There's not a road that I haven't ridden on at this point, but you learn a lot about the county just riding around, just seeing it at less than car pace.
And Charleston, go ahead.
No,
and Charleston's become kind of a destination for hiking and biking, and that's really changed over the last decade.
It
Talk about that,
has.
everybody.
Well, the topology helps on that, and at the same time, we're partnered with EIU with the photography and journalism, photojournalism class. So we get a lot of great pictures that we've used in our advertising over the years, and so that's a draw, is the sites that are out there. And I've been out there where, wow, I've lived here 25 years and never knew this existed out there. So yeah, it's neat.
It's beautiful. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and you're right. Our hiking and biking, like, things have just changed in nature, and just I feel like they've really brought people back to wanting to spend time and slow down a little bit and see our town.
Well, I think it's neat when towns find their niche.
Yes.
KZ has done that with the big things, little big things in a small town, and now you see Charleston with this hiking and biking, and it's kind of neat because then you can kind of relate to that to somebody if they're looking for that. You should go to Charleston, or you should go to KZ, or if you're going to go to Arcola for crafts, or Arthur for Amish, and then they come to the area, then they kind of all go to all those different towns if you're going to come for a week or a long weekend. Do you use a checklist to make sure everything's done? I mean, for this week as you start going crazy?
Absolutely. We have a checklist at the beginning of every meeting, and we could just go through at the beginning of every meeting. Did you do this? Okay, where are we at on this? Okay, subcommittee, where are we at on this? And staying organized with this big event. I know that we do it once a year, but every year something's changing. So yes, we have to stay organized. We have to have that checklist.
How many people does it take to pull this thing off Saturday?
Oh, how many people do we have in our committee? 1, 2, 3.
Well, there's about 12 people on the committee. As far as number of volunteers,
A lot.
I mean, is it like hundreds? I mean, it
I'd
seems
say
like
it would be up there because you need, when you're on a 62 especially, you need like north of 50 or 60 corners manned. And not every corner needs manned, but I mean, you have some really important ones, and then you also have to think about the 25 and the 12, which overlap some, but you still need to make sure that those, and then the core group of people who are around around the square, just making sure that the event's going. So I'd say north of 100 plus.
Yeah, come volunteer, put it on your resume, use your volunteer hours, anything.
Yeah, and several businesses have volunteered to their man a spot out there, and there'll be bananas and water there for those that want to take a break and go from there.
Is there a way, Doug, to find out when this is over what this means to the Charleston business / tourism / financing and how much it brings, or not?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, Jeff. It's
I know it's tough.
yeah,
right?
it is tough. We send a follow-up survey of how many stayed overnight. I think as we go, we'll probably get a better and better idea of that as we get more activities on the square. And of course, all the shops on the square are interested in, what's the traffic in there, and did it drive business to that. And so there's room for improvement there, but I think we're on the right direction.
We're talking to the folks from Tour de Charleston, which happens this Saturday here in Charleston. We've got a few minutes left. Chairman, want to pick your brain. I mean, you're riding the 25, right?
Yep.
So this week, as a rider, I mean, do you change your water intake, juice intake, your carbs, or take us through your week as a rider?
Right now, I'm starting to eat really clean. So you want to be carb loading 3, 4, maybe even 5 days out. You don't carb load the night before. That's just a bad recipe. You're making sure that your water intake is pretty good and that you're not messing with your nutrition leading up to a race. And then anything you've done for training has been done in the past already. So there's no new gains that you're going to get this week. You're just resting and getting the fatigue off of your muscles and then hoping for a good result on the day off.
But you are carving up early in the week, but not later in the week?
Yeah, I'm carbing up and I'm just keeping my intake kind of moderate until about Thursday, and I'm just going to keep my diet really neutral because when you're on the bike, there's not a lot of restrooms, so you want to make sure.
I'm glad you said. I
I think that's what you were getting at with that question.
I was trying to word that, but you heard me. You hit the home run with that.
You want to make sure that you don't do anything that's going to cause you any kind of GI distress. So take, spicy food might not go over so well on Friday night.
Now, do you eat the morning of or not? I know some athletes love to eat the morning of things, but not, or not.
I typically won't eat 2 hours before I'm supposed to do an event. So for me, I get up early enough, I will have the opportunity. And anyone who's doing above 25 will probably want to get some nutrition in because you're talking about 1,000 calories an hour, give or take. So you want some nutrition as well as you're going to eat while you're on those rides.
Couple minutes left. What have we forgotten, or what do you want to get out there for the folks in the area for the Tour de Charleston?
Sign up to volunteer. We do need some more volunteers at certain intersections, and it's always fun to just be out there and cheer on the bikers. And the bikers like it too. It's part of the thrill. And then the Lincoln Lap, come and just experience that too. That's gonna be fun. And
Yeah. And Megan hit it for me. It's more of a community event, and just you may not be a cyclist, you may not want to do the fun walk at Lincoln Lap, but come on out and have breakfast or have lunch, watch the live bands, anything to help us have a lively event.
And come out, cheer, come out, hang out, frequent the businesses, check out the stuff that's happening in the square. Whenever any event's happening in the square is a good time, so come check that out.
As a rider, is it great when you come into town and there's 100 people cheering you on? I mean,
Yes.
Does that give you that adrenaline rush?
Oh, yes. I mean, one of the things I like to hear is my friends whisper wonderful, encouraging words at me. They're not usually wonderful, but they're encouraging. Come out, encourage us, heckle us. It's a good old time.
it is fun. It's for the whole family too. I mean, we have kids face painting. We have the mic and stands. I mean, it's a whole array of age groups and family fun for
And
everyone.
the best way to volunteer is to go to the Charleston Chamber of Commerce website and get there. You can get in a hold of any of the folks today. Jeremy Alexander, Doug Abel, and that feisty point guard from Charleston.
Oh, my goodness.
Megan Barrow. So, we got it in there. So there you go. So appreciate it so much. Best of luck on Saturday. The weather looks perfect. We didn't even have to bring that up. It's actually going to be probably a little cooler than we thought. So that's, I'm sure, good news for the riders. So thank you all for coming in
Thank you.
on this Monday, and continued success to all of your ventures. We are Hitmix 88.9 WEIU. Thank you to Michelle over there. Everybody have a great day.